Hey there buddy, this is Piper here and today we're going to be playing some Universe Sandbox 2. So the bulk of the videos on my channel are mainly Total War games, got some Left 4 Dead, some other sort of bits and bobs. This is the first Universe Sandbox 2 game or video that I have on my channel. And if you haven't heard of this game before, it's like a astronomy, space slash physics game. And there's no goal of Universe Sandbox. It's not like Tomb Raider you puzzles to solve. You're basically creating solar systems. You have a selection of planets, stars. You can create your own experiments. See what happens if you add a new star to the solar system. You can play around with black holes, all sorts of things. It's a really cool game actually. I'd highly recommend it. The physics is very well done. I'm a massive fan of astronomy, the universe, how things work. And it is a very fun game to play. You can try out a lot of different things and it's actually very interesting. So being the first video of this new series, I'm going to be doing something called terraforming. I'm going to try and terraform Mars, and that's basically making a hostile planet less extreme for humans. So basically, whereas Earth is a nice sort of watery planet. It's not too hot, not too cold. There's land. There's a whole range of different environments. There's snow. You're fairly close to the sun as well. You've got all the warmth as well. You've got the magnetic field being the Earth the right size. Earth is like perfect for things to develop. Great Britain just going past there. What we're going to do is we're going to try and terraform Mars. So if you compare Earth to Mars, look at Mars here. Earth is 15.4 degrees Celsius, Mars is minus 52.8. And that's basically, if you look at the orbits, Earth is a lot further away, or rather Mars is a lot further away from the Sun than Earth is. Also, if you look at we've got a thing called the habitable zone. If you look at it, we'll go into chart mode. No, doing that. Wrong button. Okay, we pressed the wrong button there. If you look at Mars, further away from the Sun than Earth is from the Sun. So we'll look at the view. Right button there and look at the zones. So as I was saying before, I clicked on the chart button. Earth and Mars both lie in the habitable zone, which is basically the green part of this solar map. If you look at Mercury and Venus, they both lie within the red zone. That's basically, they're too close to the sun. If you look at Mercury, we'll zoom in on Mercury. Mercury is really close to the sun. It's 160 or 170 degrees Celsius on average. No water. Humans cannot survive there. If you were living there, you'd have to have like 2 gazillion sunscreen on, and even then you'd die because it'd be way too hot. Mercury's too close. It's within the red area, whereas Mars and Earth both lie within the green area. And I'm not a scientist by any means, but the phrase is called the Goldilocks zone. It's basically the green zone is the area that's right for life. Not too far away, not too close. It can support life, and Earth is that example right there. We're going to look at Mars and hopefully try and terraform Mars. So Mars is a lot smaller than Earth and doesn't have an atmosphere, and it's a lot colder. So basically, the solar winds, the effects of the sun, if Mars had an atmosphere before, it no longer does, and it's a lot colder than Earth because of that, and also it's further away. So the first step in terraforming Mars, you got to give Mars an atmosphere. So the Earth has a magnetic field. It's got a bigger iron core. It gets protected from the solar winds. Mars doesn't have that, so we're going to give Mars an atmosphere. So we're going to quickly look at the atmosphere of Mars. So we'll look at climate, enable climate. So the atmosphere is 2.5 to the power 16 atmosphere mass. Earth is 5.1 to the power 18. So it's basically almost double the atmosphere of Mars. So if we were terraforming Mars for real, there's actually plans to do this at some point in the future. We would send up very advanced complex machinery, and they would basically land on Mars and they would start pumping out CO2, start pumping out gases, and that would start giving Mars an atmosphere. So whereas CO2 is pretty bad on Earth, you hear about the greenhouse effect, that's bad on Earth. We'd be doing the opposite on Mars, giving Mars an atmosphere, pumping out CO2. That would actually be good for Mars. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start pumping out gases. Sounds a little bit rude, but that's what we're going to do on Mars. So we're going to start increasing the atmosphere mass, which will start trapping more of the sun's heat and start giving the planet more warmth. So whereas Earth is, I think it was like 5 to the power 18, we're going to give Mars roughly the same. But you also have to understand that Mars has a different kind of orbit than Earth's, whereas Earth's orbit is a lot, it's kind of stable. There's times where Mars gets a lot closer to the sun and gets a lot warmer. So we can't give Mars too much atmosphere or it's going to get too hot. We're going to try 6.89 to the power 18. That might be too hot, but I would imagine if we were actually terraforming Mars for real, we'd all be wearing suits anyway. So we're going to try this. We're going to speed things up slightly, and we're going to see what happens to the polar ice caps. So the ice caps are actually expanding, and it should start to get a lot warmer soon. So we're going to pause this right there. And I think it has actually got warmer. You can see the ice caps are expanding a lot more now. And obviously, like I was saying before, Mars lost its atmosphere due to its lack of a magnetic field. We're going to give Mars some water now. So we basically landed the craft on Mars, pumping out the gases. We'll check out the atmosphere fast here. So it's still got a healthy amount of atmosphere. We're going to give Mars some water now. So let's zoom in. Let's go to power. Obviously no atmosphere. It's probably going to lose water. But this will be the next phase in terraforming. It'll be giving some surface water to Mars. We'll spread. Second. Okay, we want. So we're going to see how that develops. So we've actually missed some of the water actually, but there should still be water on Mars from that. The gravity attracts it back in anyway. We're going to give Mars some more water, I think. Power, water. Let's give loads of water. Let's make sure Mars gets some water here. Mars needs the water. And you see right there, that's the water connected. There's quite a lot of water now in Mars. But that's quite a good combination of land and water. Obviously, it's still pretty cold on Mars. If we were staying there as humans, we'd be wearing protective suits probably. And obviously, without the magnetic field, we'd have to keep on pumping out the gases to keep the atmosphere in place. So we're going to speed this up slightly as well. We're going to, hopefully we can speed it up so the orbit will bring Mars closer to the sun and we'll start seeing some surface water. And the temperature's been quite stable. It's like minus 59.1 degrees Celsius. I would imagine we've probably lost some of the atmosphere as well. It's still pretty good on the atmosphere. We'll check out where the sun is. The sun is right there. So there's some of the water that I shot out before. It actually missed Mars. That's now in orbit around the sun. So it still is pretty cold on Mars. Obviously at minus 61. I think the max temperature on Earth is something like, was it minus 50 or something? So it's still pretty cold, but we do have the atmosphere. We do have more snow on Mars, which can be used to create water. And what we're going to do now is we're going to give Mars some organic material. So we're going to go into materials, and we've got the water there. How much organics we're going to give? I think we're going to give more organics than usual because obviously it's really cold on Mars, and this will also help warm the planet up. Not 3%, that's too much. Okay, we'll try that amount. Hopefully that'll be enough to warm up Mars even more, and then we'll have some surface water to see. So we've put the organic material on Mars, and that's going to start having an effect on the temperature. You see the temperature is coming down right there. It's still fairly cold on Mars. Again, just to speed this up, hopefully the organic material will kick in, and the organic material has just kicked in right there. I'm going to slow it down as well. So we added in the water, we added the atmosphere, and the organic material that we added actually helped maintain the atmosphere and actually increase the planet's warmth. And you see there's the surface water and the land there. So we're going to see what happens when we actually play this. We've got Mars terraformed for human habitation. We've got surface water right here. It still is fairly warm actually, it's like 40 degrees Celsius. The climate of Mars would not be as stable as the climate of Earth's. You're going to have massive hikes in temperature, decreases in temperature, and you see the temperature is actually decreasing right here because the orbit is actually coming away from the Earth now, from the Sun. So you can see there, that's one of the orbits right there, and it's actually going to be further away on the next one. But you can see there, speed up as well. We've got surface water, we've got land right there, and we've got two polar ice caps. There's a polar ice cap there, and a much larger polar ice cap on the top. And you can see that it's got a lot colder. But anyway, that's a lot better planet for humans to inhabit in the future if they were ever to actually terraform Mars. Obviously having the surface water and the planet being a lot warmer as well. But the thing about Mars is there's no magnetic field, which would create a few problems in the future, but in terms of habitation, it's a lot less hostile than it was before. So anyway, if you haven't played Universe Sandbox 2 before, it's a really enjoyable game to play. Highly recommended. It's really fun if you're into astronomy or physics. Definitely check it out if you have the time. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more. This is Piper signing off.